Let's talk building muscle and why a calorie surplus is so important. Calorie surplus is needed if you want to have a net gain of body mass, basically adding muscle. Building muscle has to do with adding tissue onto your body, and the only way to do that is to have a calorie surplus. If you want to gain muscle and you're not in a calorie surplus, then you're going to have a hell of a hard time doing that because your body is going to have to use its existing resources to stack onto that muscle. And our bodies are pretty damn smart, and so they don't want to gain muscle. They want to stay the way they are, and so it's going to fight against that, and it's going to cause you not to do that. And so if you don't have the calorie surplus, it's going to be pretty damn difficult. So I'm going to go into 4 reasons why a calorie surplus is so damn important.
And you're damn!
Number 1, like I've already said, it's much easier to synthesize muscle tissue with the extra calories. Think about it like this. When you're trying to build muscle, you not only need to maintain your current maintenance energy levels, and so basically the amount of energy that's required to sustain your basic life functions, but you're needing to add on additional tissue on top of that. And so you need that extra fuel to put on that extra material, to put on that extra muscle mass. Number 2, the extra energy allows your body to better recover from your workouts. When you work out, you're tearing your muscles apart.
Tearing up my heart.
And so you need that extra energy to help them recover. Number 3, it allows you to perform much better. And so think of it as sort of a snowball effect. When you go lift, right, your muscles are torn and they build up and they get stronger. And when you're stronger, the next time you go, you can lift more, right? And so when you lift more, you can lift more sets, reps, and weight. And so basically your overall volume increases. And when this happens, your muscles get bigger. Like I said, your strength gets bigger, which leads to bigger muscles. And the next time you go, you can lift a higher volume. It sort of happens over again. You're able to increase your strength again, and then it gets bigger, and it snowballs. And number 4, you're able to work out more consistently. What do I mean by this? When you're in a calorie surplus, you're less likely to need a deload week because your body doesn't get fatigued. Your central nervous system doesn't get fatigued as easily because of those extra calories. And so you don't have to take breaks. Normally a deload happens every 5 to 6 weeks or so. And so when you're in a calorie surplus, that's less likely to happen. You can be more consistent with your workouts. Now, when you're in a calorie deficit, your body simply just doesn't have the resources to build muscles consistently. I like to use a house example. Right now, we're trying to build a house. They tell us it's going to take 6 to 9 months to build a house, right? What if we don't give them enough money? What if they don't have the proper materials or the tools to do it? It could drag out to a year, maybe a year and a half, maybe 2 years, right? And when you're building muscle, if you don't have the calories to do that, there's going to be delays in building muscle, and your body's just not going to build muscle as efficiently. What if your calories are too high? What if you're in too much of a calorie surplus? Well, if that happens, then you're going to have all the resources to build the muscle, right? So building muscle won't be a problem. But the issue is you might acquire more fat than you'd like. There's a study done in the European Journal of Sports Science that studied just this. They had 2 groups. They had a group that ate a small calorie surplus of around 200 calories over, and then they had another group eat 600 calorie surplus. And they found that the 600 calorie surplus group gained a lot more weight. And this is something that's really common in the bodybuilding world. A decade or 2 decades ago, people would eat a ton of food when they're bulking, and they would get enormous, but they would look all inflated, like a giant inflated Hulk. There was no definition to their muscles. It was just a lot of additional fat on top of the muscle. And then when they prep for shows, they'd slim down and they'd cut down very quickly. For them, this worked, but most of us are not trying to be bodybuilders, right? We want to look lean year-round. And for us, it's actually more efficient to stay relatively lean, to stay, around the below 15% body fat. And so for us, if we want to build muscle, it's much more ideal to do it with a small calorie surplus. This prevents us from gaining weight inefficiently, so we're not getting muscle and too much fat on top of that. And the other problem is when you're looking at a calorie surplus, you want to make sure your calorie surplus is not too hard, otherwise you're not going to gain enough muscle, right? And so what should you do? There's there's an ideal amount of calories that you need to target, an ideal calorie surplus that leads to the maximum muscle gain and the minimum fat gain.
This chair is just right.
And the ideal calorie surplus is around 1 to 2% of your body weight for most people. And this means about 100 to 400 calories per day in surplus. And the more advanced you are, the lower your calorie surplus will be. The lower on that 100 to 400 range you will be. It's tough to tell exactly where this should be for each person because there's a range, but I can give you some generalities. Now, if you're just starting out, if you're a beginner, meaning if you've been lifting from around for less than 5 months on a consistent basis, then you should aim for about a 2% of your body weight increase per month. And if you're intermediate, which means you're lifting from 5 months to about 6 years, you should aim for 1.5% of your body weight per month in gains. And that's actually where I fall. And if you're advanced, then you should aim for, advanced would be 6 years and up. And if you're advanced, you should aim for 1% of your body weight. The video cut me off, so I'm going to finish it up. If you're advanced, you need to aim for 1% of your body weight in gains per month. And that should give you an adequate target to shoot for. But anyway, I hope this helped. This is something that I think will be very helpful for beginners. It's something that I followed, and it's helped me in my progress and my journey. So if you have any questions, feel free to comment below.